Hey everybody, welcome back to What the Deck. So today we've done something a little weird. I've decided to make my own pre-con kind of thing because Wizards decided not to give us one with the Spider-Man set, and Spider-Man and all of his foes are my favorite comic books growing up as a kid, and obviously Venom was my favorite of all his rogues. So I decided to make an Eddie Brock deck. So if you could see my office in here in the Mongo Cave, there's a whole wall that's dedicated to Venom, so Eddie Brock had to be my commander. So I also like the fact that it is a flip, and it flips over to Venom Lethal Protector, and you can play it for either cost on either side. So that is my commander for this pre-con that we're making up. I don't know how well it works yet. I have yet to test it, but I needed a pre-con out of this set, so I made my own. So we're going to start off with the creatures. Everything but a few cards is going to be within the universe of the Spider-Man set. Not everything is going to be perfect because they didn't give us all the cards we might need. So I start off with a News Helicopter, which will give me a small creature to join with it, so it kind of pilots it without having to pilot it. I play the Merciless Enforcers. There's a lot of villains in this deck, so it's helpful to have, a few of the villains that you have. These are Kingpin's guys, so you want to, throw those in there. Got a Venom Deadly Devourer, just because I want to play as many copies of Venom as I can, especially in the colors, of the deck, which is black, green, and red. So you want to make sure you've got all the colors that you can. I play Venom Remorseless because it's a fantastic card, and I see this card getting a lot of play. Plus, it's a symbiote, which I wanted to grab as many symbiotes for the deck as possible. Play Grendel, which is one of the Welcome Deck exclusive cards. So I don't know what the SPE, it might be special edition or something like that, but it comes in the Welcome Decks as a non-foil. I did get a foil copy of it, but, a 4-drop, 4/4 Flying and Death Touch, also a symbiote and a villain. Fantastic. Play a Radioactive Spider. Lets me search out for a Spider Hero card, which there are a few in the deck, so we make sure we use that. Inner Demons Gangsters. So we got some extra little 4-drop 3/4. I might change this out for a different card later. We'll see how it all plays out. I played Agent Venom, because if you're going to play Venom, play as many copies as you can. And sadly, this deck won't let me play the new Anti-Venom card because there are no white in the pips of my commander. But he is fantastic. Play a J. Jonah Jameson. This is also one of the ones that may get changed out. But I like having as many in-universe things as I can for the deck while I can. Play a Black Cat Cunning Thief, just because it is a gorgeous-looking card. It lets you look at some stuff on your deck. Play the Scarlet Spider Kane. So Scarlet Spider is one of my favorite costumes that they did, but it's not this version. It's the red costume with the blue hoodie. That's one of my favorite costumes they ever did for Spider-Man. I think my favorite would probably have to be the very first Spider Armor, which they put on one of the Sensational Spider-Man cards, or Spectacular, whichever one has the multiples, but I need to get a copy of that just because the art is fantastic. I play Venom Eddie Brock, which again is another Welcome Deck exclusive card, but it is a Venom card, so we want it in the deck. Spider Manifestation gives me some mana. And whenever I cast something 4 or greater, I can untap this creature for extra mana, which there's a lot of stuff that are 4 and greater. Spider Islanders. So some horrors, but they're also decent creatures to get into. Damage Control Crew. Lets me return a card or exile some stuff. Lurking Lizards. Just a 2-drop 1/3, but it lets me put a 1/1 counter on it if I play a big spell. Tombstone, would play him because he gives my villains 1 less to cast, and there's a decent amount of villains in the deck, obviously. Play some Spider-Gwen Free Spirit, because it lets me, if she comes in, or whenever she is tapped, I can discard a card to draw a card, so I can kind of fix my hand out a little bit if I need to. I play a Venom King in Black, which is Skithrisk the Blight Dragon, reskinned with just Venom on the art, which is a fantastic art, so I had to get it, and it needed to be in the Venom deck. Guy in the Chair. It's not Ned from the movies, but it is still a guy in the chair. I can't remember what his name was in the game, but It's not Ned. It's the other one. Hobgoblin Mantled Marauder, another villain, but he's got haste and flying, so I can get him out early game to make sure I've got some blockers and stuff like that. We've got Venom Evil Unleashed, which is a common legendary creature, so you could actually make a common kind of pauper commander deck using this commander, which is nice. I play a Rhino Barreling Brute, because when he attacks, if I've cast something bigger, I can draw a card. Symbiote Spawn. I like this because it's a symbiote and a villain. And then when it dies, each opponent's going to lose 2 life, and I'm going to gain some life. And it's, I believe that costume is the Shriek costume. Or, yeah, Shriek. Something like that. Shriek or Scream or something. It's one of the 6 or 7 other symbiotes they made back in the 90s. Venomized Cat, because it's a cat with a Venom suit, so we're going to make sure we put it in the deck. Play a Spider Rex, just because it's a big O Spider Rex, and it's, why not? I have the card, let's play it. Spider-Man Brooklyn Visionary, lets me search out a basic when it comes in, when it enters, because, hey, you never know when you're going to need those. It's like an Evolving Wilds on a creature. We play Lizard Connor's Curse. When he enters, up to 1 other target creature loses all abilities, it becomes Lizard with 4/4. So, hey, you can really get rid of somebody's problem. There's Shriek Troublemaker, you know, because she works with Carnage, which is a symbiote, but she's also a villain, so let's make sure we got a copy in the deck. And then we play Carnage, Crimson Chaos, because it is a symbiote, obviously, so I want it in the deck, and it's got a pretty neat ability. And the final creature we play is Superior Foes of Spider-Man, which, if you notice in the art, is a lot of these characters are kind of his B-list foes, so he really doesn't worry too much about these guys. So that's all the creatures we play for the deck. It's pretty creature heavy because it's, you know, it's a precon style deck, so we're still going to have to test it and see how it works and see what to change out, but try to use, like I said, as many of the in-universe cards as I can. So now we're going to jump into the sorceries, and for this start, we're going to get Heroes Hangout, because it can let me play stuff from Exile, or 1 or 2 target creatures can get +1/+0 in first strike, which is nice. Play Electro's Bolts, which lets me deal some damage to a creature, and I've got that new Mayhem ability where I can play it from my graveyard, as long as I've discarded a card this turn at a specific time. Risky Research lets me surveil, then draw some cards. Always nice to have. Lethal Protection, another one of the specific welcome deck or special edition cards. Lets me destroy a creature and then return a creature from my graveyard to my hand. Pretty helpful. Venom's Hunger. There's no reason we're not going to play this deck. Plus it costs 2 less to cast if I control a villain, which is usually going to happen, so it's only going to be a 2 and a black pip to destroy a creature. We play Kapow, because we gotta hit some stuff, and we gotta make them fight things. And the final sorcery we're going to play for this deck is Winds of Change, which is just going to refill our hands as long as we've got a decent amount, or it just kind of messes with everybody's hands and might save you a little bit. Then we're going to play some instants. So there's a few instants, obviously, that I think just one. Yeah, 2. 2 instants that are in universe, but we'll find copies that'll work for the deck itself and something else. We're going to play an Abrade, which also helps us get rid of some artifacts or some damage on it. Play Terminate, gets rid of that creature and it can't be regenerated. Play Shock, deal 2 damage to either a creature or a player. As you know, that's one of the early game great ones. Play a copy of Infernal Grasp, because I like to destroy creatures. I might lose a little life, but that's alright. It gets rid of stuff. Terrific Team Up. Costs 2 less if I control a permanent with mana value 6 or 4 or greater, which is easy to do. And then they can get +1/+0, and then deal some damage. The Spot's Portal. Gets rid of a creature on the board just to get it out of my way. Hero's Downfall. Destroy a creature or a planeswalker. You never know what you're going to play against, so make sure you got a little bit of something for everything. Scorpion Sting. Gives something -3/-3. Easy to get rid of a 3/3 creature. Play a Saw in Half, just to get rid of something. A Blot Out, So we can force them to exile a creature or planeswalker. We don't get to choose it, but at least it's the greatest mana value, so if they got something big, it's gone. And the final instant for the deck is Grow Extra Arms, just to buff one of our creatures. And as long as I control a spider, or targets a spider, it gets one less to cast, so it's only green, which isn't that hard to do either. Then we're going to play just a couple enchantments, only 2. Alien Symbiosis. Have to play it because it's a Venom card all the way. Wall Crawl. Gives us a token for a spider, and then spiders I control get +1/+1 and can't be blocked by creatures with Defender. I see some Defender on fields every now and then here at the Mongo Cave, so you never know. Well, we're going to play some artifacts for the deck. Obviously, you need a few. Play a Hot Dog Cart. Gives us some mana. But it also can give us a food token. Whisper Silk Cloak, just to protect one of our things if we need to, and it makes it unblockable. Play an Arcane Signet, because we always play a Signet if we play a Soul Ring, and there is one in the deck. Lightning Greaves, again, more protection, plus haste. Interdimensional Web Watch. Exile 2 cards from my library. The top 2. I can play those cards later, plus this gives me 2 mana in any combination to play those cards. Play a Felwar Stone, kind of helps fix mana if I need to. Like to play a Sensei's Divining Top. I do have a copy of this in another deck, but, you know, don't want to buy a whole bunch of extras, so we're pretty proxy friendly here at the house. So we play that just to help us get what we want out of the top of our deck. Eerie Graveyard. When it enters, I get to draw a card, and then I can mill stuff and put a card back to my hand if I need to. And then the final couple that we play a Soul Ring. I don't have one of the Spider-Man Soul Rings yet, so I have to use the Hatsune Miku one for now. I'll get a Spider-Man one eventually. And then we got the Swiftfoot Boots. Again, protect our commander or any of the other cards we might need for that turn. Or just in general. Well, now we get into the lands. This deck is going to be pretty heavy on the basics because it just makes more sense to have a bunch of basics instead of stuff. So we're going to start off with Swamps. I play 9 copies of Swamp because you need some Swamps. And then I play 10 copies of Forest. I might have to change the ratios around. I'm just not exactly sure yet. And then 8 copies of Mountain. Because basics they always come in untapped unless something forces them, and then you've always got the mana you need usually. So for the non-basics, we only play a few. So we're going to play the Savage Mansion because it's the red-black and it can surveil, or the red-green, I'm sorry, and it can surveil, plus it's, you know, from the set. Daily Bugle Building, again, it's from the set, but it can give a legendary creature menace because, you know, Spider-Man's a menace. I play a copy of Mutavault because I like having this just in case you need a 2/2 creature that's all creature types, which will make it a villain, a spider, and, you know, all the stuff they do. Meteor Crater helps me, you know, fix my mana a little bit. Rogue's Passage. This is in the deck for multiple reasons. One, I can give something unblockable, but it's also called Rogue's Passage, and, you know, in comic books they call all the villains rogues. Play a copy of Command Tower because every deck seems to need it. I play a Multiversal Passage. It's such a great card. I'm glad they printed it. And I'm just glad I was able to get a copy of the pretty version. So, obviously in the deck. I wish it had Venom on it instead. But that's okay. Play an Ominous Asylum. Because it's one of those surveil lands. And then I play some proxies. A Bayou, a Taiga, and a Badlands. And that's it. That is my Venom Lethal Protector Eddie Brock Recon, quote unquote, that I made. Since Wizards decided not to give me one, I will make my own at home. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you liked it. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment and share this with your friends. And as always, game on.